tell you, of all the things that I think people have shown an outrage to in this constant barrage of sexual harassment, right? Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey, Louis C.K. Well, we can go back to the days of Clinton if you choose. But all of this, James Toback, and now a claim against Sylvester Stallone, and a police report from 1986, and then, of course, Al Franken. I don't say that people can't look at these things and say, what in the world is going on? This is disgusting. This is sick. But they do it, and I should include Roy Moore and Donald Trump. How could I leave that stuff out? But I think people have a basic idea in their head that, listen, there are horrible things that happen, and there are people who do absolutely horrible things, and those people should be dealt with. Those people have to deal with the consequences of their actions, if you will. But some people make it up. Yes, in this world, some men lie and some women lie. I mean, this is just the facts as presented. These are the facts as presented. That sometimes charges and claims aren't true. Sometimes they are. And the people who lie about them make it extremely difficult for the people who are trying to tell their story. And we see this time and again, and it is horrific. It's horrific. But why would we ever think that it's limited only to certain places, to certain areas? It's only limited to the workplace. So, okay. It's only limited to Hollywood. Oh, okay. It's not. It never has been. So when the story came out that Congress has paid sexual harassment claims, and those payments come from the taxpayers, people were like, what do you mean they're paying sexual harassment claims? How much and who and where? My first question was, why in the world is anybody surprised by this? You're talking about Congress. We all think. So many people think politicians are terrible and awful anyway. Why would you all of a sudden think now they get to Congress and everybody's on the up and up? Power attracts. We shouldn't be surprised that some of the people in power also may have a certain level of sexual impropriety, if only because Anthony Weiner. I'm not saying I'm condoning it. I'm saying that I can't understand the level of surprise here. Now people want the lists and the millions that have been paid out. I think it's $15 million. And who it's been paid out on. The people have a right to know. I'm going to let others get involved in that and how that kind of comes to be. But there are two things that have to get said, because it's true in Congress, like it's true in the workplace, like it's true in Hollywood, like it's true everywhere. The idea that you settle should not, cannot, and the rational person, regardless of your political party, should not mean that that's an absolute guilt. No. Sometimes you settle to make the problem go away, because sometimes people lie. If we're not going to be adults and engage this conversation like adults, we can't talk. When Bill O'Reilly, you didn't think I was going to forget anybody, leave anybody out of my conversation, did you? Bill O'Reilly and Fox paid $45 million to accusers. I think when you get to the place of $45 million, something went on. I think something happened, and I think Bill O'Reilly has got himself an issue, and I do think it will keep him from television, at least for the near term. I only assume the long term as well, unless he goes about creating something on his own, without a doubt. Does that mean that every accuser actually has a real honest story? No chance. There's no 100% certainty on anything. There isn't. And I don't know why we would be surprised by that. I don't think I'm saying anything even new. So when these stories start coming out about Congress, and you start learning about all of this money paid out, not every single dollar paid out is going to actually equate to guilt. Some of it's going to equate to people who made up a story. Which is why we do need to go through and vet stories. Which is why when people push this idea that you have to believe the women, I don't want to think people are liars. You know what we learn? People are liars. We learn that they make up stories of assaults on the street to try and push a racial meme. It happens. And there are men who are liars, and there are white people who are liars, and there are black people who are liars, and there are Christians who are liars, and there are Jews who are liars, and there are Muslims who are liars, and it goes down the line. Not everybody is this saintly figure. So when I'm not surprised that Congress has paid out this money. But when I get the list, I'm going to then ask, what do the numbers look like and for what was the charge? What do we know about it? We should do that. We should look at these things and ask ourselves, what do we know? And we should ask ourselves, what do we know about those making an accusation? I know that's hard for people. I really do. But I ask the question as clearly as I can. Right now, everyone is being charged of everything everywhere. We're simply going to believe because it's said? Because if so, everyone's about to lose everything. All the time. Especially their soul. I'm Tony KATZ.
Real life.
That's the reality.
Is happening.
It's happening.